and the car is starting to stall. I don't know if I'll make it to the filling station. Since they won't sell fuel into canisters, I'll probably have to leave the car right here. We are feeling the effects of the gasoline shortage. You have to wait in lines. I've actually timed it. I've been waiting for an hour and 20 minutes now. The last time I filled up was about 4 days ago, and I had to wait in line for 30 minutes then, too.
Is Vladimir Putin brushing aside Russia's growing fuel crisis, even as pressure mounts on the country's energy infrastructure? Despite Ukrainian strikes targeting Russia's oil facilities, Putin insists the situation is not critical, projecting confidence in the face of mounting disruptions. As fuel shortages deepen and logistical challenges grow, the Kremlin appears determined to double down on its war effort instead of changing course. Ignoring renewed calls for a ceasefire, Putin presses ahead with a military campaign even as missiles continue to rain down on Kyiv. With oil infrastructure under fire but the war strategy seemingly unchanged, is Putin taking one of the biggest gambles of the conflict so far? Russian President Vladimir Putin has downplayed the impact of Ukrainian strikes despite ongoing fuel shortages across parts of Russia. His remarks come as pressure on the country's energy infrastructure continues to grow. Putin described the effect of attacks on oil infrastructure as not critical. He insisted that Russia's energy system remains stable. He also declared that the war in Ukraine will continue until Russia achieves its objectives. He gave no indication of any change in Moscow's position. The Kremlin has also rejected repeated ceasefire proposals. Officials have signaled there will be no shift in military strategy. This comes as Ukraine has stepped up attacks on Russian oil refineries in recent months. The strikes have increasingly targeted energy infrastructure. These attacks have caused fuel shortages in parts of Russia. They have also added pressure on domestic energy supplies. Putin said Ukraine is targeting energy sites to distract from what he called battlefield losses. He framed the strikes as a diversion tactic. As the energy battle continues, Russian forces reportedly captured another Ukrainian town. The claim has not been independently verified.
I would like to note that the capture of Kostiantynivka is only the first but very important stage in the destruction formation of the Ukrainian armed forces, which is still holding the Sloviansk, Kramatorsk, and Kostiantynivka strongholds, as you said, where the enemy has shot a deep and well-defined system of fortifications, turning the cities of Sloviansk, Kramatorsk, Druzhkivka, and Kostiantynivka into a single defense unit.
Russia claims its forces have captured the Ukrainian town of Kostiantynivka, with troops raising Russian flags across the area. Moscow says its troops are consolidating newly captured positions as military operations continue along the Eastern Front. Following the reported advance, Russia launched a new wave of missile, drone, and guided bomb attacks across Ukraine. Russian forces dropped 6 guided aerial bombs on central Sumy, striking a densely populated residential neighborhood. At least 4 people, including a 5-year-old girl, were killed in the devastating attack on Sumy on July 3rd. More than 20 people, including several children, were injured as rescue workers searched through the rubble. Ukrainian officials say apartment buildings, shops, and other civilian structures suffered extensive damage in the strike. President Zelensky accused Russia of deliberately targeting civilians in the heart of the city. Authorities warned that more people could still be trapped beneath the collapsed buildings as rescue operations continue. Russian strikes also hit Zaporizhia, setting a 9-story residential building on fire. At least 2 people were killed, while dozens of residents were evacuated from the heavily damaged building. Firefighters battled the flames as rescue teams searched through the destruction for survivors. The latest attacks came just days after Russia's massive barrage on Kyiv left dozens dead. Kyiv says Moscow is combining battlefield offensives with long-range strikes in an effort to weaken Ukraine's defenses. Ukrainian officials warn that Russia's aerial campaign continues to intensify as the fighting spreads across the country.
I would like to note the positive dynamics in the actions of our troops, the increasing pace of the offensive of the Union and military units of the Russian armed forces along the entire front line. I see this in your reports and in the reports of other commanders in the daily regime. In the last few months, the security lines in our border areas with Ukraine have been significantly expanded. The troops of the Vostok, Dnieper, and Donetsk People's Republics and the troops of the southern group of troops and the central group of troops continue to move to the west. In June, the units of the Russian armed forces were knocked out of 6 settlements, including the Russian control over the city of Konstantinovka. I would like to note that the capture of Konstantinovka is only the first but very important stage in the destruction and formation of the Ukrainian armed forces, which is still holding the Slavyansk, Kramatorsk, and Konstantinovka strongholds, as you said, where the enemy has shot a deep and well-defined system of fortifications, turning the cities of Slavyansk, Kramatorsk, Druzhkivka, and Konstantinovka into a single defense unit. But with the capture of Konstantinovka, we are not talking about the Slavyansk, Kramatorsk, and Konstantinovka, but about the Slavyansk, Kramatorsk, and Druzhkovka strongholds. I mean, of course, the small settlement of Konstantinovka and the fortified city of Druzhkovka. Sergei Viktorovich, am I right?
Yes, you are.
What is the situation in Konstantinovka now, and how is the situation and the responsibility of the southern group of troops developing in general?
Comrade Supreme Commander-in-Chief, the southern group of troops continues to carry out tasks in the North Donetsk region in accordance with the plan of a special military operation. The offensive of the military units of the group is carried out along the entire line of combat contact on the wide front. In December of last year, Comrade Supreme Commander-in-Chief, we have already reported to you about the capture of the settlement of Seversk in the Slavyansk direction. As of today, the Union of the Third Army continues to carry out offensive actions. 23 settlements have been liberated, including 4 in June. These are the settlements of Ryalexandrovka, Peskanovka, Yurikovka, and Malinovka.
Sergei Viktorovich, how much time has passed from Seversk at the moment?
From Seversk, Comrade Supreme Commander-in-Chief, the Union of the Third Army has advanced by 22 kilometers.
How far is it to Slavyansk?
8. The front assault units of the Third Army carry out the task 8 kilometers from the settlement of Slavyansk.
Nevertheless, I want to convey the best words of gratitude and wishes to all the soldiers and commanders of the Third Army under the leadership of General Kudryavtsev. Thank you.